Technology has given us the ability to move one of the old problem areas in our industry, experienced by boards of trustees and boards of companies in general, and that is the agendas and meeting packs and all of these things that used to consume quite a lot of time to put together, and also, being the paper-based environments, not secure, things are lying around. So it was not an ideal situation, and technology has been able to give us the ability to move all of this onto an online environment. And I'm joined today by Zeldeen Muller, who's the CEO of AgendaWorx, to talk us through a little bit about the pros and cons of having these online board meetings done in such a way. Zeldeen, good morning.
Morning, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. So give us a sense of how does it work? I mean, what is, in essence, for those that don't know, what is an online board pack? How does it work?
Okay, thank you, Chris. So first off, I want to say that the days of it just being a board pack is gone. So very similar to where previously you would go into a bank, you would have to work with a teller, you would have a checkbook, you would have to speak to somebody else about your car finance, then you have to speak to somebody else about your housing loans. A board portal is exactly that, but for boards of trustees of retirement funds. So everything will be done on a board portal, for instance, like AgendaWorx. And we are moving towards a place where absolutely everything will be done there. So at the moment, board portals cater for your board pack. So that means that your agendas, your minutes, all of that is in the cloud. And you can access it from absolutely any device. So whether that is a cell phone, your laptop, your computer, and you can seamlessly jump between the two. So if you're in a meeting, sitting, working on your laptop, it dies, you can then just jump straight onto your cell phone, right? The most important thing about this is the security. So everything is secure. We know that boards of trustees should get rid of all their packs after their meetings and subsequent to their meetings, because we have POPIA information included in those packs. We all know that trustees do not do that. A lot of trustees will just throw them in the dustbin because really, we don't all have shredders. So what are you going to do with that pack? So in this way, everything is in one board portal. The feedback that we've received from clients, we have many clients on our tool, is, and it's not just your large funds. That's what's interesting to note, is that we have seen quite a big migration of management committees of the large umbrella funds moving across to board portals like this.
Okay, that's interesting. So if you look technically, I mean, so everything happens online, so it's all fully encrypted. All your meeting agendas, your agenda goes there, your all the attachments, everything goes into this online portal, and it's inaccessible from any device, doesn't matter where you go. I mean, that sounds absolutely ideal. And can you do, obviously I would imagine you can do changes, because I remember in the old days when we used to do these board packs, I used to do them myself as well many years ago. It's always 5 minutes before the meeting, something changes, and then, your meeting pack is literally updated as you sit there with it. I'm assuming that would be something that you can sort out fairly quickly on an online environment like this, yes?
Yes, absolutely. So when we developed this tool specifically, we focused on the two parties that will be using it. The one is the board, and to make sure that it makes their lives a lot easier. For instance, they can sign all their board resolutions on AgendaWorx and all of that. But then we wanted to make sure that we cater specifically for the people and the secretaries and the consultants who have to create these agendas and minutes, and to make their lives as easy as possible. So absolutely, everything is real time. It automatically numbers for you. You can drag and drop items. Let's say you have a report that you forgot to include. You can literally dump the financial statement straight into AgendaWorx with a drag and drop function. Just pull the item to where you want it. It will automatically renumber. And what is really great is that we do understand that there's a number of board members that still want that PDF pack. So we had to make sure that that functionality is still available. So if you are sitting in the meeting, your information will immediately be updated. So you're always seeing the latest information if the consultant even makes a change in the meeting. But also what is amazing is that it would collate and create that entire pack for you. And it would add your index, number the index, provide hyperlinks in that index. So on the left-hand side, you'll see your bookmarks. It'll even number your attachments. So if I had to drag and drop an attachment to a different place, change the name to Annexure A, which I can very easily do in the tool, then immediately the pack that is created, takes about 30 seconds, will be this pack. The index will be updated with the new name, with the new number, the new spacing. All of that happens seamlessly, immediately in AgendaWorx.
Wow. I remember, as I said, going back many years when we used to put these things together. I mean, it used to take days, weeks sometimes to get all your bits and pieces together. I mean, if you had to use a stopwatch, arguably, and say, how long does it take to put together the average pack in this new environment?
Well, we add packs for clients. So sometimes we offer it as a service. My company Insight Connect will then do packs, and we can do a pack anything from 15 minutes to 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Because it's so easy. So you literally just pull the information in. But I think, Chris, what makes the time saving, what gives you the biggest time saving, is that AgendaWorx is not a tool where you are going to create something in Word and now you have to transfer that into our pack. You will work on AgendaWorx, which is a normal Word interface, by the way, to make it very easy, straight from the day when you have done your minutes and you're now starting your pack. So you will use your minutes, click on one button on AgendaWorx to say, please, will you create my pack from my previous minutes? It'll immediately do that. It'll even remind you if things need to be pulled in from your year plan. So for instance, your fiduciary cover, and it'll pull all of that into your pack for you. It will drag and drop and then do whatever you need to. Then the work starts. And now everybody in your team can work on the same pack. And I think this is the biggest game changer. So your consultant will receive information via an email from the chairperson, and your admin staff will have an admin report, and your junior consultant might receive something via PowerPoint file, and each and every single person will pull in their information and dump it straight from Word, straight from email, straight from everywhere, straight into AgendaWorx at the different items that they want to dump it. Now, when you have that scenario in a Word document, what used to be the biggest problem is now suddenly all your fonts are different, your spacing is different, your justification is different. It just looks absolutely terrible, and somebody has to sit and fix that. On AgendaWorx, we've created one button that you click, and then when you click it, it runs through your entire document. It changes all your fonts to your preferred font, be that Calibri 11, Arial 10, whatever you prefer. It fixes your justification. It fixes the space after your headings, makes all your headings the same, add your table borders. So all of that is literally happening with the click of one button. Wow. So now you have this, you can all work on it at the same time. It's so much faster to create your pack. And the formatting is fixed with one button whenever you wanna fix it. So I think that is the game changer with really taking the effort out of creating minutes as well as agendas.
Right. Well, what I like what I'm hearing, because what I like about the system, it sounds like everything is in one place. Because I know, going back to the past, stuff used to sit on shared drives, stuff used to sit on different people's computers, in email, in PowerPoint files, all over the show. Some were in hard copy, in a cabinet somewhere, and everything about your fund used to be all over the show. And what I'm hearing from you is all of this is now combined into a central place. It's accessible, it's secure. It just makes life so much easier. So I think that's a fantastic development.
Absolutely. And we have a library which is searchable, that you can search for things. And now we're incorporating AI, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But what we're working towards and running tests on at the moment, we already work using AI, and we'll talk about that. But what you will be able to do in AgendaWorx or in any board tool, I'm sure everybody is busy developing this, is that if you're sitting in a meeting and the board wants to discuss something about the contributions, instead of having the consultant now wade through a thick set of rules, trying to look for what section deals with the contributions, you will have your own AI that you can then ask and say, please let me know what my rules say about contributions.
Oh, wow. So
what different categories do I have? Things like that.
Yes. So it's a searchable database. So what I'm hearing again, and I say I like this because it sounds like your library, you can put all your financials there, your rules there, every little bit and piece, and if you search for something, you can find it like chop chop, and off you go. That's really good.
Absolutely, yes. You can find it, and you will be able to ask your AI questions about it. So you'll be able to say, please write a little article for me about, the contributions or the second reserve account. Explain to me how that works. So a new trustee will finally have that functionality where they won't be able, they don't need to ask the consultant, explain to me how the financial process works. The AI will be able to do that.
Right. So is this, what I'm hearing is like almost like a little ChatGPT type app that sits on top of your database or on top of your library that literally searches just that kind of closed group for information on that. Fantastic. Okay, that's really good.
Absolutely.
That's really good. All right. So another aspect that I want to just touch on very quickly is so we've got the minutes, we've got the agendas, all of that stuff. What about things like elections and online? Again, that's a massive process. I know it's very time consuming. Do you guys also, is there some sort of online solution to cater for that?
Yes, so we have a product called ElectionWorx, and you will be able to run elections on that. So members will be able to access and vote straight from their phones. They can use a computer. So yes, we actually run a lot of elections all the time for a number of funds. But what is nice to see is that once you've done an election on ElectionWorx, we see them coming back every 3 years when their term of office ends and doing it on the system again, because it just absolutely removes all the pain for a trustee and a board of trustees to run this entire election. ElectionWorx will do everything for you. So the only job you'll have is you'll have to give us your database, which we transfer very securely over to us. And and the rest is done for board members.
And tell me, just compared to real world elections, what is the sort of uptake when you compare the two? Against one another, virtual type of environment versus the real world. What's the uptake between the two?
Well, we started the election yesterday for a large fund, and I think the fund has about 5,000 members, and we had 1,000 votes in the first day.
Oh, wow.
So, but it would depend. It depends on how good you communicate it. So, if we have a fund that assists us, we do the communication for you. But if they allow us to send enough emails and SMSs out, then you get that engagement from members. If you have, funds who want to be a little bit more laid back, you send them one email to say it's open, then it'll definitely be less. So that has a big impact. But with regards to how much easier it is for members to vote to nominate, gone are the days of funds giving members a nomination page. They have to add a name, then 10 people have to sign it. I mean, fund members can't go around getting 10 people to sign it.
Sure.
So now every single person can just nominate one or two people, depending, how they want. They can search for people in their organization. So it's just so much easier. And that's why we see the better engagement with the electronic versions.
Right, 100%. Just before we close, one last question from my side as well is when you mentioned the online security and all this sort of stuff. I think it's still a very important issue. Cybersecurity is a big thing, because as technology gets smarter and everything, so do the ways of finding ways around that and into systems and all of that. So cybercrime is obviously rife. And what is the sort of assurance that people's data and their fund data and their personal information is secure on a system like this?
Okay, so when we built the system, we had to make sure that everything on it was built for security. Also, clients that came on board got external IT security companies to audit the system. And those were IT auditors from America, from India. Locally, some audit processes ran for about 9 months. So it's important to make sure that whatever tool you use is secure. You need to, as a board, look out that there's a penetration test happening. A penetration test is really where a CREST certified penetration test company, they usually sit in America, that they try and hack your system at least once.
I was going to say a bunch of hackers, yeah.
Yes, a bunch of hackers. And they have to be CREST certified, so they have to be really good hackers. And they would need to try and hack your system in 2 ways.
Right.
The first one we call white hat hacking, is you will give them a login information and they must try and hack it. So, that would simulate if I'm a board member and somebody else now tries to hack my system using my credentials. And then the second one is black hat hacking, where they now have to try and hack it without any.
Right. Yeah.
So those are the 2 things. Then you have to make sure that there's vulnerability tests run on your system absolutely every month. And you need to see the proof of that, and you need to see the reporting on that, because remember, hackers don't sleep. No. And they also use AI like ChatGPT to try and hack. Ne?
Exactly.
So it's important to make sure that that happens all the time. And then you have to try and find out how often does patching occur. So patching means that somebody hacked a big bank out there. It can be in America, it can be in the Philippines, it doesn't matter where. And your team has to have their fingertips on all of this. And then we need to make sure that those little loopholes that was found in the bank system is patched on your system, to make sure that patching happens on a regular basis. And that has to happen at least monthly. Excellent. One more thing that's very important and that we don't always see on systems is multi-factor authentication. That means that when somebody logs in on their laptop and now suddenly they are logging in on a different browser. So they used to use Google Chrome, now suddenly they're logging in on Edge, or they're logging in on this laptop, suddenly they're logging in from a different laptop. The minute that happens, it has to kick off a one-time PIN that goes to either the email or the cell phone number of this board member. The reason why that is so important is about 9 months ago, we had a board member who notified us that his entire Google Chrome account was hacked with all his passwords. So you know that everybody saves all their passwords on Google Chrome, including AgendaWorx, so then it's easy for you to log in. And he was very worried that now, because he's AgendaWorx, credentials were saved on Google Chrome, that this is now being hacked. But because of that one-time PIN factor, it means that this hacker who now got a hold of his login credentials, even if he has the username and the password for AgendaWorx, because he is logging in from a different computer or different device, cell phone, then AgendaWorx will immediately see, oh my word, this is not this person, because they are logging in from a different computer suddenly, and they will kick off that one time. So the board member will physically have to give the one-time PIN to that hacker before they will be able to hack your system. And I think that is extremely important. You don't see that on all board portals. Another thing I want to mention about security, which is very important, is that it takes ChatGPT to hack a password of about 8 letters, or numbers and things, about I think five minutes. At most, if it's that long. But a 12 to 14 length password, it takes about 10 months.
Oh, wow.
So hackers are all about speed. They don't want to sit for 10 months to try and hack your account, right? So that's why you will see on some of the board portals, they will force you to have a password that's about 14 characters. And if you have high level access, that goes up to about 21 characters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yes, that's an irritation to try and sit and think, my word, what am I going to use for 14-digit password? But the reason for that is the difference between that 5 minutes and that 10 minutes. Right. So when you're looking at a board portal, make sure of those little things, whether that's in place.
Okay. All right. Well, look, it sounds really comprehensive, and it obviously covers quite a number of areas. The one most important area which I haven't heard you talk about yet is, does it make coffee and order donuts as well?
It does not, but
Okay.
Chris, what we're busy working on at the moment, which I will hopefully be launching soon, is that you will be able to upload your Teams or your Zoom recording,
Right.
video
Yes.
recording straight onto AgendaWorx, and it will then automatically create your minutes from there. As a reporter, we use AI to do that. I think that's going to be very powerful. So
Fantastic.
we'll see what the future holds, but yes, I think the future is definitely a place where board members will be able to do everything online, their board evaluation, getting quotes, signing, absolutely everything will sit
Right.
in one place.
You know, and I'm going to give you bonus points as well, because it's a green solution as well. You know, because it moves away from all these reams and reams of paper that we used to consume to create all these meeting packs and agendas and blah blah everything. So it kind of ticks all the boxes for me. So well done. I'm really impressed. And I think what we'll do is we'll certainly continue this conversation in the future. And I really look forward to see what else you guys are going to be able to come up with to kind of enhance the process as we go forward. Zeldeen, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Chris.
And we'll
Thanks for your
chat
time.
again soon. Yes.
Sure. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Okay.